Hi, my name is Jay, also known as Soar. Um, Long time no see, everybody. Recording a quick video. Basically, want to do an update video concerning how things have been going, where are we at in 2025, um, you know, the past, the future, the present, all that stuff. And you're probably hearing a lot of these videos on your timeline, new year, new me, stuff like that. Um, but frankly, I did want to get a lot of words off my chest, things that have been crossing my mind over the last couple of years and kind of where I'm at mentally right now in terms of competing, both in Super Smash Brothers and in other ventures. Um, so I'm not sure how long the video is going to be. It's going to be pretty unedited. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be a little raw, but hopefully you can bear with me. Just hear me out for a little while. So we got a lot to talk about here, but basically, let's start out with saying Happy New Year to everyone. Happy 2025. Hope you guys are doing well, and best wishes to everybody and their family. But right now is January 8th, 2025, and if you have been keeping up with my Twitter, if you've been keeping up with my socials, I haven't been streaming much. I have not uploaded a YouTube video in maybe three something years, probably early 2021 when I used to compete in Valorant. Um, so for those of you who follow me from Valorant, thank you for watching. It's been a long time since I've exited that community, unfortunately. But thank you for being there during the times that I couldn't play Smash during COVID. So shout out Valorant for keeping me up for those years. But um, basically, new videos. So Smash, I have not been competing that much as of late, since honestly mid to early 2024. Now, I kind of want to backtrack a little bit. As I was talking about Valorant, that was kind of my scapegoat. Once COVID went down, Smash wasn't really happening online for me. Um, so I was competing in Valorant online, got on Team Lazarus and stuff like that, and things were going well, but never really worked out. Had a couple good tier two finishes, but nothing too crazy. I think we peaked like top 60 NA at some point on VLR, but it was at the early days of Valorant when competing was a lot easier than it is now, and before franchising and everything. So that happened, and then post COVID, Smash tournaments started coming back. I had lost my team not long before that, so at that point I was like, okay, let's just call it quits on Val and let's go back to Smash. And then that ended up happening. 2021 was a pretty rough year. A lot of mental problems was going on in my life, so I wasn't in a great competing space. But heading into 2022, a lot started changing in my life. A lot started getting a lot better. Found Steve, which kind of like rejuvenated my like drive for the game and my fire for the game, just because he was so creative and like offered so many new avenues of gameplay that I didn't really have with any other of my mains. So 2022, I feel like was like my first year of like, I wouldn't say like improvement, but there was a noticeable jump in skill. Obviously, yes, okay, Steve's broken. Call me carried all you want. It's fine. Um, Steve was very strong, and I had a lot of really good results in 2022 just off of Steve like cheesing wins, sure. But I did feel that was the first season where I started improving and actually looking at my gameplay and really like analyzing why I was getting wrong, and stuff like that, right? And then near the end of 2022, going into 2023. Um, I had like a really, really good year. I think if I remember correctly, 2022, like right after SmashCon, I had like 13th at Gommel, 13th at Shine, 25th at Let's Make Moves Miami. I won a bunch of like Quebec local events. I got 17th at Genesis 9, beating Meister and like a lot of other good players there. And like I felt like going into 2023, I was like, okay, finally I'm picking up the momentum, and I'm like finally where I want to be with this character and with this game, and like I'm aspiring to get a bunch of my goals that I wanted as a child, right? Um, for context, I've been competing in Smash since 2012. Yeah, I almost said 2020. Then I remembered we're in the decades now. So 2012 was my first event back at Apex 2012 in Brawl. Competed very casually until 2015, 2016. That's when in late Smash 4 I started taking it really seriously and started improving. Um, Fast forward, now we're back in 2023. So I'm finally achieving a bunch of my goals. I'm like topping all my local events, winning a bunch of regionals, winning C tiers, winning D tiers, getting top 16s, getting top 24s at majors. Like I felt like I was finally in a good spot for Smash early 2023. Um, and then the Steve Bann talk started happening. Um, and that honestly started breaking me mentally. Not even because of like, oh, I'm carried, I don't have another character to play. Steve was banned in my region, and like immediately I was able to go back to my Pokemon trainer, my Joker, my Meta Knight, Pyramithra, any other character, and I was still winning locals and still doing well locally. I wasn't getting first, but obviously I had just wasted 2 years on Steve, right? So um, the Steve ban was starting to hurt, not in terms of local results or stuff like that, but it's just in terms of a major. We had no clue what majors were going to ban Steve, which ones weren't. Every time you would show up to a major and you're playing Steve, Twitch chat would make fun of you, in person crowds would make fun of you. Anytime you beat someone with Steve, they would just say it to your face, you're carried. They would say, you didn't deserve the win. I've heard it all. I've been called slurs. I've been called a bunch of stuff, right? So playing Steve during that time when all of Twitter every other week was just full of ban Steve, ban Steve, ban Steve, it was not a very healthy lifestyle for me. Um, and right at the peak of that, when I was feeling it the most, was when I went to Collision 2023 and had the worst result of my entire career, where I placed 257th. I went 1-2, and I lost to, I believe it was Yeast and Shelder. One of them was a meat brawler, and the other one was a Ridley, both from New Jersey. Um, and I just got outplayed, honestly. They knew the Steve matchup really well. Mentally, I wasn't in a good headspace. They caught me on that day, and, shout out to them for getting their win. But with how they reacted, with how the crowd reacted every time I would lose, with how Twitter reacted when I underperformed, and just mentally where I was in a really dark spot. Um, so immediately after that tournament, I started taking a step back. I did keep practicing, but the amount of practice per day and the amount of practice per week did start going down at that point, early 2023. I think this is about March. And then honestly, I don't know where it came from, but after that event, I was like very motivated to like still do well. Not practice because it was kind of like scary, but I still wanted to do well, and luckily I did. I think Battle BC I got 33rd. Uh, Gommel, I think I got like 49th or something like that, and then SmashCon, I remember that year I got 33rd. Doing really well. I think I lost like Chase and some other really good player. I don't remember. Um, and then like basically at that SmashCon time, Worlds for Pokemon was happening that same weekend, and I was spectating and then watching them compete in another game. Um, kind of inspired me to just like, hey, what if I just gave that a try whenever the next season would start? And Pokemon was always a thing that I played as a kid, before Smash. Before Smash ever happened, I was always competing locally in Pokemon trading card game tournaments as a kid, in the juniors and seniors divisions. Um, but then like as cards rotated out and I didn't have a job, I was a child, so like I couldn't buy new cards basically. That's when I ended up like switching over to Smash because I was like, oh, at least I have a GameCube controller, I can still compete. So, Pokemon life, like long term, was always at the back of my mind. It was always something that I wanted to compete in, and I never got the chance to as a child. And now that I'm older, working force, etc., I can pay for my own trips, blah blah blah. I was like, hey, let's give Pokemon a shot. So SmashCon ended up going great. Immediately after SmashCon, I started taking up some MetaFi coaching with top TCG players and started learning the game and started competing locally with my friends. Um, I did get really lucky not too long after this at Big House 11. Again, a great performance, 25th in singles, but most notably, I won my first ever doubles major. For those of you who know me, doubles is insanely important to me, and I was luckily able to win that with Onan. Shout out to Onan for teaming with me and getting me my first dub. Um, so I got my first doubles majors win at Big House 11, and doubles has always meant a lot to me. I started playing Smash in Brawl because of doubles with my sister, Supergirl Kels. I was a static teammate with her for the last decade. And I love every bit of it. We've always gotten top 12, always gotten top 8s, top 16s. We've gone a couple top 4s at majors. Like, doubles for me is just where the fun is. I've always loved team games. You can tell I used to play Valorant and stuff. High rank in Overwatch, currently learning League. Like, I love team games, so doubles for me was always very important. And getting that first doubles major win was like, okay, one of the big check boxes on my list, on my like to-do list when I started out this career, was finally ticked, and that was a major, I guess you could say, driving factor as to where we're going into 2024. um, so while this was all happening, with the whole Steve Ban talk thing, Steve was banned in my region, in Montreal. My locals decided to ban him, and frankly, it hurt a lot because I was the only Steve player in the region. Realistically, there was like one or two others, but they didn't compete much, and um, they played other characters as well, so like they weren't as affected. Regardless, like if they switched character, their skill levels was relatively the same. Whereas me, where the position I was in with how much hours I'd put into Steve, the ban affected me a lot because it's like, oh, I'm gonna go from like a character I've put in like 1,000 hours in the last year to like a character I've put in 100 hours in the last year, right? So very big difference at my level. Um, so basically the ban in region like only affected me and it kind of hurt. So I basically stopped attending locals, stopped attending regionals and stuff like that because the character just wasn't allowed and I just wasn't having fun not playing him. So um, all that on top of checking all the boxes off on my to-do list and everything started happening. Um, all this to mention, beginning of 2023, I was named number one player in Montreal, which was another big box off my checklist. So that was right before the Steve ban as well. So already going into the Steve ban and then seeing Pokemon at SmashCon, I was like, yo, low key, might have to make a switch. Um, but yeah, so end of 2023, going into 2024 was basically that. I was just starting to slow down for Smash. And then going into 2024, a lot of majors were starting to cancel themselves. They were saying like, "Oh, we're not gonna have a tournament this year," and basically just Smash tournaments as a whole were slowing down. Sponsors were dropping out. I lost my sponsor early 2024 around Genesis time. They decided to cease operations, so it kind of left me teamless. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to fund my own events. Smash events are very unrewarding because it's like even if you get like ninth, you're still not walking away with anything. Even if you make top eight, you're probably getting a high five and like $100. It's like, I mean, obviously it's more, but like it's not that much more. Like at that point, just go work a 9 hour shift. Um, so competing in Smash early 2024 started getting a little weird. Um, Not long after my doubles win at Big House, I actually attended my first ever Pokemon regional in Pittsburgh. That was in September, and then another one in Toronto, Canada, in October around Halloween time. And the one in Toronto, I ended up day twoing, which means you're like part of the top 10% of the tournament. Um, and at my second ever regional, like a lot of people have been playing for years in Pokemon and have never day two to a tournament. And for me, being able to do that on my second regional ever was telling me signs of like, okay, this is doable. This is like a possible path that I can take. Um, and then I competed again like early 2024 in Vancouver. Didn't do too well, but basically those three regionals were just like a trial run for me, and basically just like okay, how is Pokemon gonna treat me? Let's see if it like works, right? Um, and then the season ended in June, and I didn't have any other tournaments, so I wasn't like expecting to make Worlds or anything like that. It was just a trial run, couple regionals, see how it goes. And then going into 2024, um, had a couple Smash majors. I went to Genesis, got like 65th. Did okay, got like kind of bracket fucked. I lost to Chase and Lima for 65th, which is like two amazing players. They played really well, had some close sets, so like I enjoyed myself. It was okay. Um, And then I think Battle of BC I got 17th, Gommel I got 25th, and then SmashCon I got 33rd. So these are all basically just recaps of the 2024 season for Smash for me. I have not attended any majors since Supernova. I said SmashCon, I meant Supernova, which was back in August. And the reason why is because basically the Pokemon season ended in June and started in July. And that's when I really told myself, okay, this 2025 season, I'm really going to push for a Worlds invite, and I'm going to see how far I can really go in Pokemon. With Smash Majors just slowing down as a whole, um, the game not being as fun to practice for me. Like I said, I've been playing 12, 13 years now. It's kind of weird to say 13 now that it's 2025, but yeah, 13 years of Smash now, and it's like the fire starts to die out, right? I still love the game. Competing in the game is amazing. I love competing in Smash. Just the thrill of it is something else. You honestly can't compare it to any other game. Um, so it's something I'll still love, and it's something I'm still going to be attending. I'll get more to that later. But um, with all that like kind of passions dying out with 2025, I was like, okay, let's really push for Pokemon. And this season so far, I've attended three regionals. Baltimore, where I finished points. I finished a top 5-12 finish, so I still get points for that event. Um, and then I went to Sacramento, California. Finished in the day two again. I think I got a top 256 finish. And then just most recently, again, my on my 1 year anniversary back in Toronto Regionals, I got a top 64 finish. Which now that I'm steadily improving and I'm steadily getting better finishes, I'm feeling more and more confident in Pokemon. My abilities are improving. Um, you know, everything is just going well with Pokemon right now, and it's where I'm enjoying myself. I have a lot of friends locally that are into the game. Obviously, it's a very local game, and you're obviously playing face to face to people. So, um, kind of my friendships in and out of the game have been formed around Pokemon, and you know, it's just kind of where my head is at right now. And basically, in 2025, there's not much happening for Smash right now. The majors are kind of quiet. LMBM just happened, Genesis is happening, but after that, there's not much. There's like Battle BC, there's Gommel, there's a couple other majors that are announced, but most of the year it's pretty quiet unless you live in Japan. Um, so luckily for me, somehow, some way, Lumirank 2024.2, I was able to be ranked 149th in the world for Smash. Don't know how I did it, but after so many years of barely being on the worldwide ranking, I would be like 160th, 170th, 180th, stuff like that. Like I was right outside the top 150. And a world ranking had always been my goal. Obviously, the goal in Smash 4 was like, oh, top 50 PGR, but nowadays the game has gone so big and so hard that even top 150 is acceptable. Um, so even the season where I competed the least, where I literally only went to one major, got 33rd at SmashCon, and then won like a bunch of like D tiers and C tiers locally, I somehow got ranked with the season where I put the least amount of effort. So yippee, I got top 149 in the world, which is kind of unbelievable to think about with how strong Japan is and stuff like that. Just a wee old Canadian like me, just there's only like four of us I think in the top 150 or something, and I somehow managed to squeeze in there. So it's something to be proud of and it's something to look back on for sure. Um, but at the end of the day, we do have to move forward, and that's basically where we're at right now. Um, with Pokemon in 2025, I'm going to be going mostly full-time Pokemon. Um, I still will be competing in Smash locally at some regionals when I have the itch to play. I'm not like dying to compete in Smash right now, but every now and then, like just after watching LMBM finals, I'm like, oh, I want to play a little bit of Smash. I might go to a local or something, right? So I'm not completely done with Smash. I'm still reachable. If you want questions or anything about Smash, I still love the game and still know a lot about the game. But right now, in terms of competition and what I want to pay for, it's gonna be Pokemon. The event structure is just higher quality. No offense to all those Smash TOs, I love you guys, but you guys got to pick up the game in terms of what other companies are offering. So Pokemon tournament structure is just really good. Their payouts are obviously amazing. Top 32 is making 1K US. If you go to an international event, which I'll be attending EUIC in February, um, you're making $2,000 for a top 64, which like Smash, you get a top four and you're not even making that much probably. So it's kind of unbelievable to think about. So the payout's better, the structure of the event is better. There's just so many positives. It's honestly it's friendlier, the people are nicer. My God, does it smell better? Um, and like I said, I have all my friends and my local support within this community, and it's kind of what I've been building over the last 2 years or so, quietly under the rug as I've been competing in Smash. Um, and like I said earlier, it's just what I've wanted to do since I was a kid. I always wanted to compete in Pokemon, and it's kind of now the opportunity has presented itself to really push for it. And currently this season, I have 450 CP through all of my local finishes and all of my um, what do you call it, major finishes. So I am on track. If the season did end today, I would have my Worlds invite, but obviously it's a marathon, not a sprint. We're only halfway through the season, so hopefully I can actually close out a Worlds invite this year. That'd be pretty awesome, but it's not the final goal at the end of the day. Um, so basically, moving forward, all this to say, I'm gonna quick TLDR, but all this to say, I am not quitting Smash. I will still be competing locally. Couple majors. I do plan on going to Gommel this year. Hopefully repeating my win from Gommel in doubles last year with Anand. Um, so I will be teaming with Anand again this year at Gommel. So hopefully we can do that. But other than that, I don't have any majors planned at the moment. I will be missing out on BOBC for the first time in 4 something years. Um, and I'll be probably at SmashCon. We'll see if I make Worlds because that's usually the same weekend. But Smash majors are going to be slowing down for me. Locally and regionally, I'll be only attending when I feel like basically being there because it's not an urgency. I am currently the number one player in Quebec, but honestly, they're all improving so fast that I think they could take me any day now. Um, and I'm just enjoying Pokemon. So moving forward, I'm going to be competing in that. I do plan on bringing out more content for Pokemon for people to learn. Whether you're a Smash player, a Valorant player, already a Pokemon player, if you want to learn more about Pokemon, I do plan on offering my services once again on Metafy.gg. The link will be in the description. So I do offer coaching for Pokemon and Smash, and that should help you ease yourself your transition into the game, or if you're already learning how to learn more. Um, and I'm going to be producing more content in terms of YouTube videos. I currently don't have like a set schedule for them, but I do plan on covering, anything from deck profiles, tournament runs, maybe one-on-one matchups, anything educational that will help people kind of get into the game, because I do truly think the Pokemon TCG is something special and something that everyone should have the right to learn. Um, and that's basically where we're at right now. So thank you all for watching. It's just a quick update. I guess it was a little long, going on 20 minutes here, but I do appreciate you all for watching. If you did make it this far, please leave a comment. Regarding if you're interested in learning Pokemon at all, or if you have any fond memories of me and when we ever met up at a major at Smash or anything like that. Feel free to reach out to me at any time. But that's basically it. We're gonna call it at that, and hopefully you guys will support me in my future endeavors in Pokemon, and when I do show up for Smash, hopefully I'll still be able to kill it and get a good performance, because at the end of the day, I still would like to win. So I'm gonna be trying. I won't be throwing, but I will be a little bit out of practice. So we'll see what I can do. All right, guys. I appreciate you all so much for watching. Thank you. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Twitter. I'm gonna be posting a lot there. You can check out my Metafy in the description for coaching sessions that I'll be offering, like I said, for Smash and Pokemon. And that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have yourselves a nice day and Happy New Year.